I very much distrust the fact that you forgive your father. I very much distrust in the ways that you said that the therapy helped you, that particular therapy. I also distrust the kind of therapy that you're going to be offering people in the future. I do not distrust that you were hurt and you have a lot of trauma. I knew that before you even said a few words. Unfortunately, I can see when people have that problem because I have it myself. I know where you hide it. I know what it feels like. I know a lot of stuff. What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out to Alien Army. Raise up, stand up, hit a like button, definitely drop a comment. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, Alien Army is people that rock with me heavy, they rock with me tough, they subscribe to me, they also hit the like button and drop a comment. Comments really do help out my small channel. Even if I become big, I will still respond. If you take the time to read it, I'm gonna take the time to write it. And I can understand if you don't know what to put in as a comment. You know, if you don't have a question, comment, or concern, still dropping a comment does help me out with the algorithm, and it does show support. So you could drop an alien, you could drop a UFO, you type in UFO, put a little spaceship, a thumbs up, anything of that nature. Real quick as well, checking in. Shout out to my donations. If anybody wants to bless me or show me love, my Cash App's the same as my YouTube name, AlienAscend. Put that in the description. Also, if anybody else wants to reach out to me, talk to me private about anything, or just chop it up, I do put my email inside the description as well. That particular email is alienarmycontact@gmail.com. And I'm gonna jump straight into this video. So this is Born in Trouble, Paul, and it was done by Soft White Underbelly, and I'm going to tag him or mention him however that works. I think it's I mentioned and I put an ad in his name. I do want to jump straight into it because like the beginning of this video, it's trying to capture you, and I'm talking the truth, right? So I'll sum it up real quick about his story, and then I'm going to talk about what actually I see and what I went through. So his story is that on that particular channel, because it's over an hour and a half, it's almost 2 hours, so I'll sum it up as best as I can. He went through a lot of stuff, traumatic PTSD. He talks about what he went through, what happened to his mother, what his father had done to him. He also was in group homes, and I think maybe a little bit juvenile hall stuff as well. You know, he got taken from his family because he opened his mouth and told people what was going on. This guy has so many things that are very similar to me, and then some things that are very unsimilar at all. Real quick as well, this is the kind of person that I put money on that would win a fight. Does not look like an intimidating person. He has a lot of, I know where he hides his emotions. I know that he looks like a regular person and talks very well, and I know how he hides that stuff because I do that too. And it's very easy. Like we know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a trader before they even know themselves, but also I know when somebody's gone through stuff. And the more you try to hide it, the easier it is for me to see it, because I try that hard to hide it my damn self. You know, there were so many times where I was teaching marketing classes, and when I was doing that, I was on stage with over 200 people. None of them knew that I was shy. Nobody knew that I had anxiety. Nobody knew that I had what trauma I had. All of them thought that I was just as rich and making as much money as them, but had no idea what was that I was living paycheck to paycheck and I could barely keep a roof over my head. Oh, by the way, this is one of the first times watching my videos. I am homeless. Go check out those videos if you don't know. Like I think I got like close to 200 videos, so you could watch a lot of stuff, to figure out, or you can ask me in the comments and I'll be happy to help you. But his story is all that happening, so I guess I'll give you a little bit play by play. A couple nights ago, so the video is only a couple days old. Like I said, his actual title is Born in Trouble, and the guy's name is Paul. When I'm watching it, I first notice and I can see that, like, dude, this guy had a lot going on, and very similar to me. Other than the group homes and the juvenile hall, a lot of the same story. The way he talks, the way his eyes move, his mannerisms, they all remind me of myself, and I don't believe that he's lying or faking that crap at all. I'd be willing to bet anything on it. Even though the way he comes across and stuff like that, and he seems like, he made me want to believe, like, man, you were able to get over a lot of this stuff. Like his father unalived his own mom at the age of 5. And what happened was that he would punch her in the head, and when he punched her in the head, that like the last time that he had punched her in the head or whatever, for a couple of months, his mother kept on having grandma seizures until it only lasted a month or two, and then she passed away from it. So she never healed from it, and stuff like that, right? That's why in the beginning of this video, I did not trust or believe that he forgives his father. I don't believe that at all. I believe he has that hatred towards him. If you wanted to know more about my story on this, like what I went through, I got a video. YouTube does not push it. It's about the third one down. I believe it has the word childhood in it. So check that video out, and you can find out a whole lot. I would love to go into really create. I mean, that one's the most detailed I can get without it having a red line on it saying that I can't upload it. I have a yellow line on it so it doesn't get pushed and stuff like that. But go check that out if you want. You know, after this video, if you're interested, you know, like how did I grow up and what did I have to deal with. But like I said, it was very similar to his. So when I'm watching this, I'm like hanging on the edge of my seat. You know, he talked about forgive me for the YouTube parameters. He's talking about how he does how he does Snoop Dogg activities, and that helps him out. Okay, that's great. I understand that has beneficial stuff to it, and some people would. Me, absolutely not. That stuff would freak me out. Have I tried it before a long time ago? Sure. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. I don't. It makes it worse. It makes the thoughts in my head worse. It makes me relive it in a certain way where I don't have like that I'm not used to, and that I don't have control. And quite frankly, if I had to do that to be better in life, I would rather deal with what I used to and what I know. Okay. So I'm happy that that does help. He talked about how he forgave his father, and I'm gonna try to jump into it so it's not like a long drawn out video and that you guys watch everything, you know what I'm saying? So please stick to the end, you know, just rock with me. Basically, he when he's talking about how you know, like now he's better, and he finally says it at the very end, and it makes me distrust him a whole lot. So what happened is he decided to find a therapist who uses certain stuff. All right, so follow me on this. YouTube parameters. What's the last letter of DMX's name? Okay, but we're talking about the legal kind. You know, the MD and the last two letters. So DMX. So she prepped him for 6 months, like him and her, and I believe he said his therapist was a woman. So forgive me if I got that mixed up. Prepped him for 6 months of this emotional roller coaster that he's about to go ahead and take, and the dose was, I believe, 120 milligrams. That to me, that seems very substantial. That sounds like a lot. I don't know if it is or not. I've never touched it. Have I had people? You know, I understand that the background of that and the other stuff, LSDMX. That stuff was used in therapeutic sessions a long time ago, if I remember correctly. And I only know this stuff from documentaries. So, but then it started off that way, and then there became a street version. Evidently, he didn't get the street version. He got that Molly Mop and Glow. You know what I'm saying? He had that, and that he had such a great trip on that, where he unloaded everything, that at the end of his trip, he calls his father and says he forgives him and loves him and everything else like that. And why I distrust this, okay? I distrust this for a couple reasons. That upon him saying that, he is not a therapist. He's not a licensed therapist. Evidently, the legal loop around that is trauma coach. So at the very end, that's when he decides to say that he is a trauma coach, and he also has a circle of people that have you know, trauma as well, and that they're trauma they're trauma coaches. Some of them are licensed therapists, some are just trauma coaches, and that upon that depending on whatever you were dealing with, they have somebody for that. So let's say, for example, a woman or a man was hard-R'd, you know what I'm saying? If that was to happen, you will be talking to a therapist or a trauma coach that has went through that themselves. So when somebody's telling me how something helps, like if you know, I always for the most part not judge, but like I'm trying to figure out. I follow the money. Okay, like if you don't know somebody, you don't trust them, and they're telling me if this guy would have told this whole story and said that he wasn't offering this service, I would believe him more often. I would say it's not for me, and that's cool. I hope it helps other people, but I really don't see how it could help people. And this is where I want you guys to follow along and definitely throw some comments in there. Psychedelics will put you into psychosis. PTSD trauma, you're basically already in a psychosis. Do I think that one psychosis and then adding another one equals something good? You also got to remember the context of this. This is not sitting down with a bunch of friends and holding hands and having really good music, vibing, and sharing what you love of love in life. This is you taking that, and then you are facing and dealing with and talking out loud all the stuff that has happened to you, or all the times that you were betrayed. This guy was strapped down. I was strapped down for a year. I was let out twice to use the bathroom a day, and most times I wasn't even let out. I had to use the bathroom on myself. Okay. You don't think something like that is going to have lifelong effects? You know, from my understanding, if you take that stuff, it heightens your senses, your smells, your touch, your stuff like that. Talking about something good would make it so much better. And I would imagine that talking about something that was bad to you would make it a million times worse. And maybe that's their whole aspect is that it will release stuff. But no, you can get caught in a trip like that and never come out. You know, I've seen people go on bad trips on other stuff, and the other stuff is LSDMX. I had a friend that went through a bad trip, and I was the only person that calmed him down and get him laughing and everything else like that. But I've seen people walking around the neighborhood and stuff like that who's had too many or just went on one bad wild ride and they were perma-baked. You know, and I imagine that could happen with this. I would never, ever, ever think that taking something to put you in that heightened state and talking about it afterwards. Then on top of which, I do not believe that if you got really, really drunk and you called your father and you said you were sorry, that would be the booze talking. When you sobered up, you'd be like, nah, man, I still have that hatred towards him, especially if your father had unalived your mom. You know what I'm saying? And his father did a lot more than that. You know, he got hurt a whole lot too. So maybe after my video, if you're interested, you could follow this whole story. But when I'm watching all this, I'm sitting at the edge of my seat thinking, man, I wonder what made him better. Just to find out that it's something that I would never ever do, and I would never suggest anybody do. Then on top of that not only that, if that's the kind of therapy and trauma that he's going to be offering people, and it's going to be very successful for this guy. A lot of people probably want, like I think I got over 180,000 views, and that guy is going to get a bunch of calls. And he's going to do good, and I'm not going to try to hurt his money. I mean, who the hell am I anyways? But I really didn't believe him. I do not believe that he has a financial reason to lie. He's got a financial reason, like because he's got that financial reason. If he said that no, it didn't work, then he couldn't charge people to go ahead and do this. And he's quit his plumbing business to start this trauma group, and then it's already up and running. So him having this trauma group, this is now his financial stuff, right? So of course he's going to say that taking that stuff and he'd be promoting how it helped him. Even if he wasn't promoting how he did this, I don't believe it worked. I can still see it in you. Could you be better than what you once were? Sure. I don't have a before and after. I only know what you show me on that video. To be honest, I know a lot more because I can see in you. I know you're not lying. This guy didn't make up all this stuff so he could be a trauma coach. I can tell 100%. Also he was thrown in facilities, and he's talked about what facilities he was thrown in and their names and their locations. So that could very, very well easily be looked up. Do I like the fact that that he's lying about that? No, I don't. I think that, and he talked, and he's very educated. He was talking about the money grabs that he learned when he was a kid, and how that the money grabs being that because now you're in foster care, or now because you're in a group home or whatever, when they take you to the dentist, suddenly you got 19 cavities because you have the medical insurance. So the dentist is fixing crap that's not even wrong because he knows that he can bill them. I've seen that kind of stuff firsthand. I almost went that route. I almost went to juvenile hall. I almost went to group homes. If I would have opened my mouth and said what went on, I knew, and I was told, and I was threatened, and I was manipulated as a child. If I do that, I was going to be taken away from my brothers and my sisters. And so I would rather deal with the hell that I knew than the hell that I didn't. And I got to be honest, I still stick on that decision. Another thing too about that guy is I have a hard time trusting somebody when they say that if they could redo things over, or if they have regrets and if they say no. I have so many regrets. If I got a redo, I would love it. If I could change a lot of circumstances as me growing up and even me as an adult, I would totally do it. That person saying that, I don't quite believe that. I think that solidifies the facts of that I can help you get over with what you're going over. Because if he would have said, no, I wish I could have changed stuff, then what kind of therapist are you? How are you supposed to get me over on something? Get me over on something. And then I also I wish that people would touch on this. Excuse me. A lot of stuff that I hold inside and the way that I deal with it every single day, I wouldn't want to get rid of all of it. A lot of it is my strength. Sadness for me turns into anger, right? And that anger, as long as I do not direct it towards anybody, and I haven't, but in bad situations where I have to defend myself and stuff like that, absolutely does it come in handy. Does it keep me, that anger and that sadness that I have, does that keep my head on the swivel when I'm homeless and I'm walking around making sure nobody walks behind me, or if somebody tries to tax me, what am I going to do about it? You know what I mean? Those are definitely, little tools that are very easily accessible. They're not even just like accessible, they just come out. You know what I mean? They come out in those situations, and I 100% believe that they come out with him as well. That's some of the stuff with the dude, and what I see is wrong. He will be very, very, very successful. Everybody on that channel is very successful. Like there was a small little wouldn't call him a kid, but a youngster talking about how he wanted to be a war daddy, or he was a war daddy, and then by him being on there, a bunch of girls started volunteering, hey, be my war daddy, right? There's also been another person who was a war daddy, and he ended up, I believe his name is Sharp, and started becoming a regular, and then actually being a host on the No Jumper podcast, which I would never be on that show. I wouldn't rock with them. Not like they would even ask me, but nonetheless, he jumped on there. You know what I mean? People that go on there, and I've been asked when I first started my channel, why don't I send a 20-second clip and go ahead and do that when that guy's not in my location? And also, I don't know, would I do an interview? I would want to do an interview, or I would want to do a video where I don't have to watch what I say. You know what I mean? Can I do that on this platform? No. Do I even think that there's an interest to hear all of it? I have no idea. If there is, then sure. But I need to talk about it where I'm not watching what words I say and whatnot, right? The best one that I have on here that will explain all that stuff is the third video, and it has the word childhood in there. So if you're interested, take a look. He also, but I guess I was saying on there is that, yeah, I'm kind of getting tongue-tied on this a little bit, so please bear with me. Please don't end the video. I need the watch time. But the financial incentive, that's what I was talking about. It's financial incentive. Also encouraging people to do that. Then also at the end he says he doesn't want to he doesn't want to only do that. He wants to help other people with trauma. I don't believe that he is over it. I believe that he is in a point of his life where he can deal with what he has to deal with, but that it's not gone, and that he has that these thoughts and these feelings and reliving those moments happen to him hundreds, if not thousands, times a day. Since I watched that video, just for an example, yesterday, I tried to make myself a conscious thought that how many times am I reliving something? How many times do these thoughts pop in my head without me thinking them on their own? I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands, that I caught. How many of them happened that I forgot to count? You know what I'm saying? So I just let everybody know who's watching this. I am not diagnosed with anything. I did see I've seen a therapist, and said I was stage 2 PTSD. I could have gotten free therapy if I was stage 3. That's the highest level. Stage 3 people there would be like they're so trauma filled that they won't take a shower for years, or they'll have the most delicious food in front of them, but they won't eat it because they're that trauma. That is how it was explained to me. When I went through the evaluation for that stuff, there was only 2 questions that I missed for the PTSD, and that was I a danger to myself? So I of course, so like out of all the check boxes to see if you have PTSD, I didn't get that check, and then I also didn't get the check box of would I be willing to hurt myself or hurting others? And my answer on that is no. And he asked in a specific way. He didn't say if the person deserved it, if the person provoked you, if the person spit on you, if that person robbed you, if that person tried to assault you or a loved one. He's like, no, do you just ever want to hurt somebody for randomly? And the answer is no. So that takes care of that. My whole life, my whole life, people have tried to put me in therapy, and I've always said no. When I tried to do it as an adult, and this is just a few months ago that I did this, and I've talked about it on other videos. Do I think that anybody can help me? I would hope so. I don't want to live like this the rest of my life. Can I manage it and do it? Yeah, but I would not take prescriptions. I definitely would never do that. You have no idea. Just an Excedrin, okay? An Excedrin makes me go nuts. I do not take Excedrins. Like an Excedrin to me is the equivalent of drinking 2/5 of vodka or something like that. It amplifies everything in my head. It amplifies everything in my heart. The way that I relive things is worse. It feels like I would be taking something that I shouldn't. You know what I mean? I take extra strength Tylenols, I take stomach and acid pills, and I take my blood pressure pills. That's that. And I mean, would I take NyQuil? Yeah. And would I take the stuff that helps you sleep? I can't think of the name of it, but it's a natural thing that you have in your head. Yeah, I've done that before. I can't think of the name of it right now because it's been such a long time. But I'm not trying to drag out this whole video. I just wanted to put that out there, and I hope you guys like this. I enjoyed it. I don't think anybody's making any responses on this guy or talking about him, but if I see something that I'm motivated to talk about and tell my 2 cents. And also, if you wanted to check that guy's video out, leave comments here and check that out and tell me what you thought, or if you think that you would do that kind of therapy. I wouldn't suggest it, but I'd like to thank everybody so much. Oh, wait, real quick, if you've gotten this far, put juice in the comment, JUICE. Let me know if you watched this far, and I want to thank you guys so much.